Most people enter trading believing the market rewards the smartest person in the room. They think if they learn enough strategies, watch enough charts, or follow enough experts, success will eventually come. But after years in the market, I learned something difficult. Trading is not a game of intelligence alone. If it were, many clever men would never lose money. The truth is, there are people in the market who move differently. They are patient when others rush. They stay quiet while crowds grow emotional, and they often seem to arrive before the big move happens. Many call them smart money. You may have noticed this yourself. Just when everyone becomes excited, the market turns. Just when fear takes over, prices begin to rise again. That is not luck. It happens because experienced players understand something most people ignore. Timing matters, patience matters, and emotion can become expensive if left unchecked. Most people never realize how often their own habits work against them. They believe the problem is the market, bad timing, or simply poor luck. But if you watch closely, you begin to notice the same pattern repeating again and again. A person feels excited after seeing others talk about a winning trade. They fear missing out, so they jump in quickly, hoping the move will continue. For a brief moment, everything feels right. Price moves a little higher, confidence grows, and they begin believing they finally understand how trading works. Then suddenly, everything changes. The same excitement that pushed them into action becomes fear. Doubt enters the mind. Small losses begin to feel larger than they really are. Panic takes over. Instead of staying calm, they react emotionally and leave at the worst possible moment. Days later, the market often moves back in the direction they first expected. What happened? It was never only about being wrong. It was about acting too quickly and letting emotion decide everything. I have seen this pattern many times. People chase movement because standing still feels uncomfortable. Waiting feels unproductive. They think success belongs to the person who acts the fastest. But in many cases, rushing creates more problems than patience ever could. A trader sees prices rising and believes, if I do not move now, I will miss my chance. Another sees prices falling and becomes convinced something terrible is coming, so they rush to leave before things get worse. Neither person stops long enough to ask a simple question. Am I acting with calm thinking, or am I simply reacting to pressure? The crowd has always struggled with patience. When many people feel hopeful, confidence spreads quickly. Everyone begins telling stories about easy success. Friends talk about money being made. Videos appear everywhere promising fast results. Suddenly, staying out of the market feels foolish. But excitement has a strange way of making people ignore risk. It convinces them that what is happening today will continue forever. Fear works the same way. When prices fall, confidence disappears just as quickly as it arrived. The same people who once felt unstoppable suddenly believe nothing will recover. Fear becomes louder than logic. They stop thinking clearly and only want relief from uncertainty. This is where many people lose their way. They believe successful trading means always doing something. They search for action because action feels like progress. But often, the greatest mistake is acting at the wrong moment for the wrong reason. The difficult truth is this: many people do not lose because they lack knowledge. They lose because emotions quietly take control of their decisions. Hope pushes them in too early. Fear pushes them out too soon. Frustration causes them to make choices they later regret. The market has a way of testing patience. It tempts people into emotional decisions and rewards those who can remain steady while others become overwhelmed. Most people are not defeated by numbers or charts. They are defeated by the pressure they place on themselves. And until a person understands this, they will continue repeating the same cycle, wondering why success always seems to slip further away. The moment a person begins to understand this pattern, a different question starts to appear in their mind. If emotions cause so many people to struggle, then why do certain people seem to move through the market with far more calm and confidence? Why do some people appear prepared before major changes happen while others are left surprised? The answer is often simpler than people expect. Those who succeed for long periods do not treat trading like a race. They do not wake up every day feeling pressure to force something to happen. Instead, they spend much of their time observing, waiting, and paying attention to behavior. They understand that rushing rarely leads to good decisions. Most people imagine success comes from constant action. They believe the person making the most moves must be the one getting ahead. But many experienced traders understand something different. Sometimes, the smartest choice is doing nothing at all until the right moment arrives. Think about how people behave during moments of excitement. When everyone becomes confident, noise grows louder, opinions begin spreading quickly. Suddenly, every conversation feels certain, as if success has become easy and guaranteed. But experienced people tend to become more careful during these moments. They know excitement can make people stop thinking clearly. At the same time, when fear spreads, most people become desperate to escape uncertainty. They rush to make decisions simply because staying patient feels uncomfortable. Yet, this is often when experienced traders become more focused. While others react emotionally, they quietly observe what is actually happening instead of following the mood around them. This difference matters more than most people realize. Long-term success is not built on reacting faster than everyone else. It comes from understanding human behavior. Markets move because people move. Fear, excitement, impatience, and hope shape decisions every single day. Those who understand this begin seeing patterns others miss. They stop getting pulled into emotional waves because they recognize how temporary emotions can be. There is another truth many people struggle to accept. Important moves rarely arrive with loud warnings. Big opportunities often appear quietly before the crowd becomes interested. By the time everyone notices, much of the move may already be happening. This is why chasing excitement often leaves people frustrated. They arrive after confidence becomes popular instead of before. The people who do well over time usually spend less energy trying to predict every moment and more energy preparing themselves mentally. They know they cannot control what happens tomorrow. What they can control is patience, discipline, and clear thinking. This does not mean they are always right. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone faces uncertainty. The difference is that experienced people do not allow one emotional moment to control every decision they make. They step back, think clearly, and avoid turning temporary feelings into permanent damage. Over time, this approach creates a quiet advantage. While others jump from excitement to fear, chasing certainty that never lasts, calm thinkers begin seeing opportunities with more clarity. They stop feeling pressure to follow every crowd. They become comfortable waiting, and that patience often changes everything. Because the market has a strange habit of rewarding those who can remain steady while everyone else is rushing to catch up. And once a person becomes comfortable waiting, something interesting begins to happen. They stop looking at the market like a place full of surprises and start noticing how often the same human behavior repeats itself. What once felt random begins to make more sense. The biggest lessons often come from moments that confused almost everyone else. I remember seeing situations where a company seemed invisible to the public. Hardly anyone spoke about it. News around it felt quiet. Most people had little interest because nothing exciting appeared to be happening. If someone had looked only at public attention, they would have believed nothing important was changing. But quietly, something different was taking place. Little by little, signs of growing interest began to appear. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud, just small changes that most people ignored because they were too focused on whatever had already become popular. While crowds chased excitement elsewhere, patient observers noticed steady movement building in the background. Then something predictable happened. Weeks or months later, the same company suddenly appeared everywhere. People started talking about it with excitement. Videos praised it. Friends discussed how much mushy could still be made. Confidence spread quickly, and many believed they had discovered something special at exactly the right time. But what they failed to see was this. Much of the opportunity had already passed before attention arrived. This happens more often than people think. By the time everyone feels comfortable, much of the uncertainty has already disappeared. And strangely enough, comfort can become dangerous. When people feel safe, they stop asking difficult questions. They stop wondering whether they are arriving too late. On the other side of this story are moments when fear takes control. A company faces bad headlines. Prices fall. Confidence disappears. People begin speaking as if recovery is impossible. Selling feels like the only reasonable choice because uncertainty feels unbearable. Yet these moments deserve careful attention too. Fear has a way of making situations appear permanent, even when they are not. People begin believing bad times will last forever simply because emotions become too heavy. But patient observers often understand something important. Difficult moments can create opportunities if fear causes people to overreact. This does not mean every situation ends well. It does not mean every quiet moment turns into success. Life and markets are never that simple. But the lesson is not about certainty. It is about awareness. Most people only pay attention when emotions become loud. They notice excitement after everyone starts celebrating. They notice fear after panic spreads everywhere. But those who improve over time learn to pay attention before emotions become overwhelming. They understand that the crowd usually reacts after feelings grow strong, not before. This is why patience matters so much. Waiting allows a person to observe clearly. It creates distance from noise and pressure. Instead of following every wave of emotion, they begin asking calmer questions. Why is attention suddenly growing? Why are people becoming fearful? What changed? And what has not changed? Simple questions like these often lead to better decisions than emotional reactions ever could, because in the end, the market often reveals the same truth again and again. Many people move together, but very few stop long enough to understand where the crowd is actually heading or why they started moving in the first place. And when a person finally begins asking those calmer questions, another truth slowly becomes impossible to ignore. The market does not care about how badly someone wants success. It does not reward effort simply because effort feels exhausting. It does not pause for frustration, fear, or hope. For many people, this realization feels harsh at first. Most enter trading believing hard work alone will protect them from mistakes. They spend long nights learning, watching, and trying to understand every movement. They believe that if they care enough, success will naturally follow. But over time, many discover something painful. Wanting something badly does not always mean you are ready for it. This can be difficult to accept because people naturally search for comfort after losses. They look for reasons outside themselves. Maybe the market was unfair. Maybe someone else had an advantage. Maybe luck simply was not on their side. And sometimes, yes, difficult situations happen. No one avoids disappointment forever. But growth usually begins at an uncomfortable moment. The moment someone stops blaming everything around them and starts looking honestly at their own behavior, did impatience lead to a rushed decision? Did fear force them to leave too quickly? Did excitement make them believe something would rise forever? These questions are uncomfortable because they require honesty. Yet honesty often becomes the turning point between repeating old mistakes and slowly becoming wiser. The truth many people avoid is that emotions can quietly become expensive teachers. A single emotional moment can undo weeks of careful thinking. One rushed choice, made out of fear or excitement, can leave someone wondering why things suddenly went wrong. And perhaps the hardest lesson of all is this: success often looks boring from the outside. People imagine successful traders living inside constant excitement, making quick decisions every hour, chasing every opportunity that appears. But in reality, patience often feels slow, discipline feels repetitive, waiting can feel uncomfortable. There are long periods where nothing dramatic happens at all. This is why many struggle. The human mind naturally craves movement. Doing something feels productive. Waiting feels like wasting time. Silence feels uncomfortable. Yet many mistakes begin the moment people act only to escape discomfort. There is also a difficult emotional weight that comes with comparison. Someone sees others celebrating success and begins questioning themselves. Why am I behind? Why did they succeed before me? Why do I always feel late? But comparison creates pressure, and pressure often leads people away from clear thinking. Every person moves at a different pace. Trying to match someone else's speed can cause unnecessary mistakes. Real progress often happens quietly. It happens when someone learns to remain calm during uncertainty. It happens when they stop treating every moment like an emergency. It happens when they begin trusting patience more than emotion. No one becomes wise overnight. Every person faces moments they regret. Every person experiences frustration, confusion, and disappointment. But those difficult experiences can either break confidence or build understanding. The market has a strange way of exposing weakness, but it also rewards self-control, not instantly, not dramatically. Often, the reward comes slowly, through better choices made over time, and eventually a person begins to understand something many never fully accept. The greatest battle was never truly against the market itself. It was against impatience, fear, and the constant urge to react before thinking clearly. And once a person understands that the real struggle has always been within themselves, the way they see the market begins to change. They stop searching for shortcuts. They stop believing there is some hidden secret that only a lucky few know. Instead, they begin to understand something quieter, something far more valuable. The market has always tested people in the same way. It asks difficult questions without using words. Can you stay patient when nothing exciting is happening? Can you stay calm when others are afraid? Can you avoid getting carried away when confidence spreads everywhere? Most people believe success comes from finding perfect moments, but often it comes from learning how to think clearly during imperfect ones. There is a mistake many people continue making for years. They spend too much time asking what will happen next. Will prices rise tomorrow? Will things fall next week? Is now the perfect time to act? But the future has never been easy to predict. Even the most experienced people face uncertainty. No one controls tomorrow. No one sees every answer ahead of time. A better question often changes everything. Instead of asking where things are going next, ask what people are feeling right now. Are people becoming overly confident? Are they acting out of fear? Are decisions being made calmly or emotionally? Human behavior leaves clues, not perfect answers, but clues, because behind every movement are people making choices. Some act out of excitement, some react from fear, some rush because they cannot tolerate uncertainty, and many simply follow what everyone else is already doing because standing alone feels uncomfortable. Yet the strange thing about crowds is that they often move together emotionally. Excitement spreads quickly, fear spreads even faster. When everyone feels certain, people stop questioning. When everyone feels hopeless, many stop believing recovery is possible. This is why patience becomes so important over time. Patience creates space to think. It protects people from acting only because others are acting. It allows a person to observe quietly instead of reacting emotionally. And perhaps this is the hardest lesson of all. Confidence should come from understanding yourself, not from trying to control everything around you. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be moments where decisions feel uncomfortable. No person escapes mistakes completely, but wisdom grows when someone stops chasing certainty and starts building discipline. Over time, calm thinking becomes more valuable than excitement. Clear judgment becomes more important than speed. Emotional control becomes stronger than fear. The people who improve are often not the loudest. They are not always the fastest. Many times, they are simply the ones willing to wait, observe, and remain steady while others become distracted, because the market has never truly rewarded panic, impatience, or endless guessing. It has a quiet way of rewarding those who learn from mistakes, stay grounded, and think carefully when emotions run high, and maybe that is the lesson worth remembering most. Stop asking how to move faster than everyone else. Stop chasing every moment that looks exciting. Instead, learn to think clearly while others lose their balance. That alone can change everything.